Here is something I want you to understand, and I mean really understand. The world has spent a long time telling women who they should be, how they should look, how they should speak, and how they should feel about themselves. But today, right now, I want to have a different conversation with you. A conversation about what it truly means to be a valuable woman. Not valuable because someone else says so. Valuable because you know it deep in your bones. You were never meant to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's world. You were born to rise, to claim your space, to be powerful. Being a truly valuable woman has nothing to do with being liked by everybody. It is not about your body shape, the gentleness of your voice, or the way you carry yourself. No, being valuable is about how courageously and boldly you show up for yourself and for the people around you. A valuable woman knows that her worth is not based on whether someone accepts her or not. She does not wait for the mirror to tell her she is beautiful. She does not wait for others to notice her. She walks in and her presence creates an imprint. The ground remembers where she stood. Let me be honest with you. Life will not always cheer for you. There will be rooms where people try to silence your voice. Some will mistake your kindness for weakness. Others will see your confidence and call it arrogance. Let them believe what they want. Because a valuable woman does not need acceptance from everyone. She needs to stay true to who she is. If you want to become valuable, then learn to stand straight. Even when you are standing by yourself, nourish your mind with good books. Keep learning new things. Say no when your heart knows it is the right thing to do. Say yes only when it truly carries meaning. Passion is not about being flawless. It is about living with intention. And intention is not just what you do with your hands. It is who you become deep inside your soul. Be someone who encourages other women. Be someone who speaks truth with gentleness and listens with care. Be someone who brings calm, not just to others, but also to her own heart. And sweet girl, do not confuse noise with value. The loudest person in the room is not always the most powerful. Sometimes the strongest woman is the one who understands that her silence carries its own power. Remember this. When you step outside your door, you are not just something to be observed. You are a statement, a declaration. Declare yourself courageous. Declare yourself deserving. Declare yourself complete. Whether or not anyone else agrees with you, the world will eventually have to rise to meet her, the woman who recognizes her worth. A woman who sees her value does not need someone else to confirm she is enough. She does not live for applause or recognition. She does not stand in front of the mirror hoping someone tells her she is valuable. Her worth is not built on opinions. It was written deep in her being the moment she came into this world. And when she finally grasps that, everything begins to shift. Because when a woman discovers how to value herself, she becomes powerful, not in a loud or aggressive way, but in a steady, quiet, certain way. She becomes unshakable. The kind of strength that does not need to shout, but still gets noticed. The kind of self-belief that does not need to prove anything to anyone, yet commands respect wherever she goes. Too many women are taught from a young age to look outside themselves for validation. To wait for someone else to say they are good enough, to be noticed, be told they are okay, be pleasant, be quiet, be perfect. And even when they do everything correctly, someone still says it is not enough, not clever enough, not slim enough, not gentle enough, not driven enough, or maybe too driven. That is a trap. If you spend your life trying to satisfy everyone, you will always feel exhausted. You will never feel like you have arrived. But the valuable woman lives differently. She creates her own story. She wakes up each morning and does not ask the world to define her. Understanding who you are is not arrogance. It is freedom. Freedom to enter a room without shrinking. Freedom to sit at the table without apologizing for being there. Freedom to wear what brings you joy. Share your truth and live a life that feels right in your heart, even if no one else recognizes it. Real self-worth is not loud. It does not always appear as confidence on the outside. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it is in how you establish boundaries, in how you guard your peace, in how you rest without guilt, in how you look at yourself in the mirror, not with shame, but with understanding. You know what it took to become who you are. You remember the storms you survived, the nights you cried, and still rose in the morning. The moments you kept loving yourself when it would have been easier to quit. And when life tries to shake that, because it will, you do not crumble. Not because you are hard like stone, but because you have built strength from within. You do not chase applause, so silence does not bother you. You do not need approval, so rejection does not destroy you. You have seen yourself in the dark and still chose to believe you are worthy. That is what true value looks like. Real worth is not about being flawless. It is about being fully present. Being present with your imperfections, your gifts, your story, and still choosing to love yourself. A valuable woman does not wait to be perfect before she loves herself. She accepts herself while she grows. That is why she glows. That is why others sense something special when she enters the room. She does not need to be seen because she already sees herself clearly. And when a woman sees herself through the eyes of love and truth, she becomes unstoppable. She becomes a reflection for others. When she claims her value, she gives quiet permission to other women to claim theirs too. This world does not need more women who try to appear flawless. It needs more women who are grounded, who understand their value, and do not have to prove anything to anyone. Because at the end of it all, beauty fades, attention fades, accomplishments fade. But your honesty, your kindness, your courage, those are eternal. That is the kind of value that never dies. It lives on in people's hearts long after you leave the room. So do not wait. Do not wait for someone to tell you that you matter. Do not wait for the award, the position, the praise, or the partner. You matter now. Tell yourself now. Accept it now. Walk in it now. Your worth was never something to fight for. It was always yours from the beginning. She enters a room and does not look around to see if she belongs. She does not wonder if she is too much or not enough. She does not make herself smaller so others can handle her better. She has discovered the beauty of simply being herself. Not who the world expects her to be, but who she truly is. And that, my friends, is what makes a woman powerful. A woman who embraces her authentic self. A woman who does not hide her truth. A woman who no longer apologizes for being who she is, not because she believes she is above others, but because she is tired of pretending. Because she understands fake love, fake smiles, they all cost too much and they never last. So she chooses honesty. She chooses presence. She chooses to be real even when it is difficult. Even when it means walking away from people or places that once felt comfortable. Let us be honest. Being authentic is not always simple. People will not always appreciate it. You might be called difficult, too emotional, too strong, too independent, too much. People may misunderstand you. They might question you. They might tell you directly or indirectly that you should change to be accepted more easily, that you should be quieter, softer, smaller. But the valuable woman knows better. She does not live to fit in. She lives to be true. A woman understands that comfort is not her main purpose. It is integrity. And that means saying no when every part of her wants to say no. That means choosing peace instead of popularity. That means knowing the right people will never ask her to make herself smaller. There is a deep kind of power in a woman who can say no without feeling guilty, who can disappoint others to stay honest with herself, who can sit in the middle of chaos and still hear her own voice. She does not abandon her truth just to avoid conflict. She knows that peace that costs her truth is just a quiet battle inside. and she is tired of fighting herself. She does not feel the need to explain herself every time she makes a different choice. She is done chasing approval. Maybe there was a time when she did. A time when she bent over backward, trying to become who others wanted her to be. A time when she dressed, smiled, and spoke in ways she thought would help her belong. But she has grown past that, and now her journey back to her authentic self has become her silent revolution. When a woman decides to stop performing and start truly living, she becomes magnetic. People might not always understand her, but they sense something in her. There is a rare kind of calm in her presence, a steady energy, because she is no longer waiting for others to define her. She has already claimed herself. She does not fear being alone like she once did. In fact, she has found wisdom in it. Walking alone has shown her things that being in crowds never could. She has come to see that loneliness and solitude are not the same. Loneliness is missing others, while solitude is reconnecting with yourself. And when you stop avoiding yourself, you start to realize how much strength has been with you all along. Her authenticity is not loud or dramatic. She does not display it like a medal. It is quieter than that. It shows in her limits, in her laugh, deep and without apology. It is in the way she speaks honestly and means what she says. It is in how she owns her imperfections and does not cover up her scars. She knows perfection is a trap, and she is done playing that game. She is not afraid to cry in front of others or admit when she is wrong. That is not weakness. It is real power. A power that does not come from pretending, but from being true. She is not trying to be seen as strong, if that means hiding her softness. She knows she can be both. She can be strong and gentle, open and wise, generous and careful. She refuses to be put in a box. She is a full, complex woman. And she is no longer trying to tone herself down just to make other people feel comfortable. She does not follow what is popular. She follows what is true, her truth. And that truth does not always fit into other people's expectations. Sometimes it means saying yes to a dream no one else understands. Sometimes it means leaving a relationship that looks perfect to everyone else. Sometimes it means staying quiet when the world wants a response and speaking up when staying quiet would be easier. But no matter what, she stays close to what is real. She knows that living truthfully means people might judge her. It means being seen completely, not just the polished parts. But she also knows that every time she stands in her truth, she gives other women permission to do the same. Every time she chooses being real over pretending, she opens a path for someone else. And that ripple, that is legacy. So she lives as she is. She is not waiting to be chosen, not waiting to be fixed, not waiting to be more or less. She is enough right here, right now, exactly as she is. And that more than anything else makes her valuable. She is done chasing perfection. That old race where nothing ever feels good enough, where each victory feels fragile, and every mistake feels enormous. That race exhausted her because perfection keeps moving. The more you chase it, the further away it gets. The more you try to hold on to it, the heavier it becomes. One day, she looked at herself in the mirror and barely recognized who she was. Not because she had failed, but because she had spent too long pretending, trying to live a life that looked perfect from the outside, but felt hollow inside. So, she made a different choice. She chose purpose. She discovered that real worth is not in perfect moments. It is in meaningful ones. The moments where she shows up messy but honest, tired but willing, nervous but brave. She no longer wants to be the best at everything. She just wants to be real, helpful, and present. She wants her life to matter, not because it looks impressive on a resume or sparkles on social media, but because it made a difference, even if it touched just one person. Purpose is not loud. It does not always get recognized. It does not always come with awards or attention. Sometimes purpose looks like being there for a friend who is struggling. It is in the way you listen, the way you hold space for someone, the way you bring calm when everything feels like chaos. Purpose is quiet work, sacred work, often invisible, but it builds a life that is full. She has learned that to live with purpose, she has to ask different questions. Not do I look good or will they approve of me, but does this match who I truly am? And will this bring me closer to what really matters? She does not search for praise anymore. She searches for alignment. She does not chase control. She looks for clarity because clarity helps her say no with kindness and yes with confidence. The woman who lives with purpose wakes up differently. She still feels fear, but it does not control her. She still makes mistakes, but she is not defined by them. She may fall short, but she learns something new each time she rises. She does not measure herself by perfection anymore. She measures herself by growth, progress, truth, and impact. And her impact is not always found in big, flashy moments. It is in the steady love she shares, the way she encourages others, not for attention, but because she remembers what it felt like to be alone. She was the woman who needed a kind word. She was the one overlooked, the one people doubted, the one others thought could not do it. And now that she has found her power, she does not keep it to herself. She lifts others up. She makes room for them because she understands real success is not rising alone. It is bringing others with you. She is dedicated to growth, not image. That means she is open to admitting when she is wrong, learning new things, and letting go of old patterns. She does not hide behind a fake smile or perfect image anymore. She knows pretending to have it all together is not strength. True strength lives in humility, in asking for help when needed, in listening more and talking less, in staying open. Hearted even after life tried to close her off. And now she brings peace not just to others, but to herself. That is the biggest difference. She is no longer at war inside. She does not wake up each day with a weight on her chest trying to chase a version of life that never really belonged to her. She is breathing easier now, living freer, loving deeper, and all because she chose to stop pretending and start being who she truly is. She has learned that life is not about meeting other people's expectations, but about honoring her own soul's calling. Every day, she chooses to listen to her inner voice, even when it is quiet or scared. She knows that following her truth will sometimes be lonely, but loneliness is better than living a lie. She has discovered that true freedom comes when she stops apologizing for who she is and starts embracing it fully. She no longer fears mistakes because she understands that they are part of the path, not the end of it. Each mistake teaches her something new about herself and the world around her. She has grown to trust her journey, even when the road is rough and uncertain. She has faith that everything she experiences is shaping her into the woman she is meant to be. She no longer feels the need to rush through life trying to fix everything all at once. She has learned patience, the kind that is calm, steady, and sure. Patience with herself, with others, and with the timing of her own growth. She knows that some things take time to bloom, and she is willing to wait for what is truly meant for her. Her heart is open but guarded. She gives love freely but does not lose herself in the process. She understands that boundaries are acts of self-love, not walls to keep people out. She protects her energy and her peace, knowing that she cannot pour from an empty cup. She has learned to say no without guilt and yes with intention. Her past no longer defines her. She has made peace with the parts of her story that once caused pain and shame. Instead of hiding her scars, she wears them like badges of honor. Each scar tells a story of survival, strength, and growth. She knows that her wounds do not make her weak. They make her human and beautiful. She is not afraid to stand alone because she knows that her worth does not depend on others' approval. She has built a strong foundation within herself, one that no one can shake. This foundation is made of self-respect, courage, and kindness. It supports her dreams and holds her steady through life's storms. She chooses joy even when life is difficult. She finds beauty in small moments. A warm cup of tea, a kind smile, a quiet sunset. She knows that happiness is not a distant destination, but a choice she makes every day. She practices gratitude even for the challenges because they have taught her resilience and hope. She speaks her truth with love and clarity. She no longer hides her opinions or feelings to please others. She knows that her voice matters and that it can inspire change, both in herself and in those around her. She listens deeply to others, but she never loses sight of her own truth. She embraces change with an open heart. She knows that growth often means letting go of what no longer serves her. She does not fear endings because she understands they make way for new beginnings. She welcomes transformation as a natural and beautiful part of life. She lives with intention, making choices that align with her values and dreams. She does not waste time on things that drain her or distract her from what matters. She prioritizes her well-being and nurtures her mind, body, and spirit. She knows that taking care of herself is the greatest gift she can give to the world. She stands as a light for others, not by trying to fix them, but by being a living example of strength, grace, and authenticity. She supports other women in their journeys, knowing that when one rises, we all rise. She builds communities based on respect, honesty, and compassion. She's a warrior of peace, choosing love over fear, kindness over judgment, and hope over despair. She knows that the world needs more women like her. Women who are real brave and compassionate. Women who refuse to settle for anything less than a full, authentic life. She is still becoming. Every day is a new chance to learn, grow, and deepen her understanding of herself and others. She celebrates her progress and forgives her setbacks. She moves forward with a heart full of courage and a spirit full of grace. This is the woman she is becoming, the woman she always was meant to be. Strong, gentle, wise, and she walks her path with purpose and peace, shining her light for all to see. And in that light, she finds her true home within herself meant for her. But now she moves with purpose. She speaks slower, listens more carefully, walks more gently, but with more intention than ever before. She does not rush anymore to keep up with everyone around her. She is creating a life that feels right to her, even if no one else understands it. She keeps herself surrounded by things that bring peace to her spirit. People who speak kindness, not just noise. Work that inspires her, not work that leaves her empty. Places that feel secure, not just polished on the outside. Because when you stop trying so hard to be perfect, you start choosing differently. You begin to ask, does this feel right to me? And that small question, just that one, can truly change your life. Now, when failure shows up, she does not fall apart. She does not drown in shame. She does not beat herself up or question her worth. She understands now. Failure is simply a part of the journey. No path filled with purpose is without a few bumps in the road. But she is not scared to stumble anymore because every time she does, she rises stronger, wiser, more determined with more courage than before. And when someone asks her what success means to her now, she does not mention numbers or fancy titles or perfect images. She talks about peace, about having meaning, about waking up each morning with a sense of direction that is her own, not borrowed from someone else's opinions. She speaks about laughing freely without guilt, resting without feeling bad, loving without being scared, creating without asking for approval, and living without needing to apologize all the time. She now knows the most powerful kind of woman is not the one who does everything right. She is the one who lives with intention. Not to impress anyone, not to perform, not to prove something, but to live a life that truly matters deeply and honestly. And that she knows is more than enough. She does not chase attention. She does not feel the need to explain herself too much or try too hard to be noticed, because She knows something deeper, something many people miss in the rush to be seen. Real power does not yell. It walks in quietly. It fills the space calmly. It lifts its head not with pride, but from all the years she kept standing tall, even when life tried to make her feel small. A truly valuable woman gains respect not by asking for it, but because she lives in a way that naturally earns it through her actions, her words, her choices, the way she walks, the way she listens, the way she gives space to others and to herself. All of that speaks before she even says a word. Her silence has meaning. Her calmness carries weight. She does not need loudness to be strong. Her presence speaks for her. She has learned the difference between attention and true influence. Anyone can grab attention. It just takes noise, drama, or controversy. But influence is something different. It grows from roots. It is built slowly through being consistent, truthful, and thoughtful. It moves others not by force, but by presence. This kind of woman has learned how to protect her energy. She does not react to everything. She picks her moments when to talk and when to remain quiet, not out of fear, but because she is wise. She realizes not every fight is worth her time. Not every insult deserves an answer. Not every call into drama needs to be answered. Her peace matters more than winning a pointless argument. But make no mistake, when she does speak, people pay attention. Not because she talks a lot, but because her words are full of thought, full of meaning, full of truth. She has no interest in fake conversations or empty praise. Her words reflect her mind and her soul. They are clear, thoughtful, and honest. And even when she tells the truth, it never comes from a place of cruelty. It comes from care. She knows how to speak truth without causing unnecessary pain. She does not need a fancy job title to feel valuable. She does not need a crown to feel powerful. She does not need applause to feel confident. Her self-worth does not rise or fall based on what people think of her. It is not built on compliments. It is built on her character, on the nights she stood up for herself when no one else did, on the time she kept her dignity when anger would have been easier, on her choice to keep choosing herself, not once but over and over again. She may not be the loudest in the room, but she is often the one people turn to for clear thinking. She might not be the center of every event, but her presence makes the room feel steady. When she enters, you feel the difference. There is something stable about her. She does not chase after respect. She is respect. But that does not mean she is always serious. In fact, there is a softness in her that puts people at ease, a gentleness, a calm presence. Because real strength does not come from building up walls. It comes from knowing you do not need to. She does not pretend. She does not perform. She just is. And in a world full of noise and pretending, her realness is magnetic. She knows the difference between being powerful and being scary. Fear comes from weakness. It tries to control others. But real power connects with them. She does not spread gossip. She protects others. She does not control people. She encourages them. And she knows that the most powerful kind of woman is not the one shouting to be seen. It is the one walking in her purpose, speaking with meaning, and leaving others better than before. Her standards are high, but they are not proud. She is not hard to deal with. She is wise, not because she thinks she is better than others, but because she knows what it took to become the woman she is now. She does not let just anyone have access to her peace, her thoughts, or her heart. Because not everyone is supposed to be at her table. Not everyone deserves her energy. And that clear, quiet line she draws, that is where her self-respect starts. She is not scared of being misunderstood. She is not scared of being quiet. She does not need to prove herself by being loud, because she has seen what happens when people confuse noise for power. And she has chosen something better. She does not interrupt, she watches. She does not argue just to win, she talks to understand. In a world that rewards shouting, Her calm confidence is revolutionary. People might not always remember every word she says, but they will remember how she made them feel safe, heard, seen. That is what real value looks like. Not how many people notice you, but how many people are changed by your presence. So she carries herself not with pride, but with confidence, not with drama, but with real depth, not with shouting, but with steady fire, a fire that does not burn others or burn out, but keeps glowing, quiet, strong, and undeniable. To every woman hearing this, understand this truth. Your worth was never about being perfect, loud, or always performing. It was always about your purpose, your presence, your truth. You never had to become someone else to be enough. You never needed to do it all, have it all, or prove it all. You only needed to be real, be thoughtful. Be honest, be whole, stand proud in who you are. Walk with boldness toward what lights up your soul. Let your words carry wisdom, not just sound. Let your choices reflect your deepest values. And most of all, remember, the most powerful women are not the ones chasing approval. They are the ones building lives full of meaning. They are the ones lighting up the world around them and reminding everyone that real power, true lasting power, starts from within. You are not here to fit in, you are here to rise. Rise with grace. Rise with purpose. Rise in truth. And as you rise, you give others the courage to do the same. Be the kind of woman who does not just shine. Be the kind of woman who lights up the entire room. Be the woman who moves with quiet confidence, who lifts others as she climbs, who knows that her journey is not a competition, but a calling. She builds bridges, not walls. She creates spaces where others feel safe to grow, to dream, to be themselves. She is patient with her own progress and generous with others' struggles. She understands that true strength is vulnerability embraced, not toughness worn like armor. She allows herself to rest, to recharge, and in that rest she finds even greater power. She celebrates the success of other women, knowing that their light does not dim hers. Instead, it adds to the brilliance of the collective, the unstoppable force of women united by purpose and heart. She does not apologize for her ambitions or her desires. She claims her space unapologetically, carving out her path with grace and determination. Her voice is steady and clear, not because she must be heard above others, but because what she says matters. When she stumbles, she rises with compassion for herself. When she faces doubt, she leans into faith in her own worth. When the world tries to shake her, she stands firmer, rooted in the knowledge that her value is inherent, unshakable, eternal. This woman is a beacon not because she demands attention, but because she radiates authenticity and purpose in every step. She is a reminder that power is not loud. It is not harsh. It is kind, steady, and unyielding. To every woman reading this, you are enough just as you are. You have everything you need inside you to live a life that matters, to lead with love, to shine with truth, rise in your power, rise in your peace, rise in your purpose, and watch how the world around you rises with you.